Hello guys, welcome to another video. Today we're going to solve a couple of exercises at topic 8, multiple choice questions. So let's jump straight to the paper and see the solutions of the problems. Number 1, it says which energy resource is renewable? Renewable resource, it means that the time in order for the source to create it, it's less than the time of consumption or equal to the time of consumption. Now, of course, natural gas, uranium, coal, they are not. They took a long time in order to be formed. Biogas is the correct answer. Biogas is the mixture of gases produced by the breakdown of different organic matter in the absence of oxygen. So this is easily to have it, like from farms, etc. You can have all this organic matter. Number 2, for a black body at absolute temperature T, the power emitted per unit area is P. What is the power emitted per unit area when the temperature is decreased to half, to 1 over 2 times T? So you know that the power is directly proportional with the temperature to the power of 4. So your new power now, it needs to have half the temperature of before to the power of 4. So if you do the math here, you have T to the power of 4 over 16. So this is your previous power over 16. So the correct answer here is B. Now number 6. The property of the molecules of greenhouse gases which leads to their ability to absorb infrared radiation is their resonance frequency, speed of rotation, total electric charge or diameter. Of course it's resonance frequency. We have many vibrating frequencies for these greenhouse gases so they can easily absorb radiation with different types of frequencies. Number 7. Gases in the Earth's atmosphere believed to be responsible for the greenhouse effect include. Now you have a couple of options here. Here, in this question, this is a very specific question, very unique one, because based on many different resources, you can see that many of these gases are at choice B, at choice D as well. All of these gases, they are responsible for the greenhouse effect. So from here, either you answer B, either you answer D, it's correct. Okay, again, this is very unique. It doesn't happen very often, but sometimes it might. Number 8. In a nuclear power station, in order to increase the chances of a chain reaction, what we have to do? We have to remove kinetic energy from neutrons. So it lowers the speeds in order to interact with the nucleus, to be captured by the uranium nucleus. Number 9. The original source of the electric power produced by a wind generator. We have here like answers like internal energy. Of course it's not. Nuclear energy, etc. Of course you know that the sun's radiated energy is responsible for creating the winds. So this is how the wind generators are operating. Number 10. Increasing the temperature of a black body will have the following effect on its emission spectrum. Total power radiated and peak wavelength of radiation. So what we need to do here is to see how is the relationship between power with temperature, that as we saw before is directly proportional with temperature to the power of 4, and the peak wavelength of the radiation, that this one is inversely proportional to the temperature. So in this case, the total power, if we increase the temperature, the total power will increase. And also the peak wavelength is going to decrease. So correct answer here is A. Number 11. The rate of formation of a non-renewable energy resource is of course less than the rate of consumption of the resource. That's why we call it non-renewable. Now in the next paper we have in nuclear power production, what is the advantage of a nuclear fusion reactor over a nuclear fission reactor? So here we have a couple of choices. For example, the operating temperature of the fusion reactor is lower. Well, okay, but it's not an advantage. The nuclear reactants are more easily confined with the core of the fusion reactor. So this is also not something related. The disposal of the nuclear waste products from the fusion reactor is more straightforward. This is correct. And the nuclear fusion reaction is more easily sustained for a long period of time. This is also not relevant. So correct answer here is C. Number 2. the Earth rotates about an axis x and y as shown below. P and Q are positions on the Earth's surface that receive solar radiation from the Sun. Why is the intensity of the solar radiation incident at P significantly greater than the intensity at Q? So here in this case, of course, this is the way that we have seasons. If this is the atmosphere, you see that the radiation here, it crosses this length inside the atmosphere, and the radiation here, it crosses this length that is bigger than the first one. So, of course, the correct answer here is B, that the path length through the Earth's atmosphere of the solar radiation is shorter for P, so it doesn't lose so much energy as it does here when it reaches the Sun. Number 4. An electric motor is used to lift a heavy load. The Sankey diagram shows the energy transformations involved in this process. So here we see the total work in, and here we see the total work out with some losses. What is the efficiency of the motor? We look what the motor does. So be careful here. So the efficiency is the work out over the work in. The useful work out over the work that you supply. Now the work in, as you can see here, if you count these boxes, you will find that is 8. Now what is the work out? The work out is the load that we lift up. Actually, this is the losses in the motor, and this is the losses in the pulley. So all of it together, it counts as work out. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 6 over 8, and this gives you the number of 75%, because we look for the efficiency of the motor, and the only losses in the motor are here at only 2. So it's number D. Number 5. What is the purpose of the moderator in a nuclear power station? Well, the moderator, of course, it slows down the fast moving neutrons in order for them to be able to be captured by the nuclei inside there. So correct answer B. Now, the 6. Methane and carbon dioxide are both greenhouse gases that are believed to cause global warming. The reason for this is that these gases, so what these gases do, and they create global warming. So if this is the Earth's surface and here are the gases, the solar radiation, it comes from the Sun, it reflects from the surface of the Earth, and now these gases, they have the ability to absorb this radiation. So you need to find words like absorb. So but it's not enough. They absorb the radiation, but also they transmit this radiation, again in different directions, of course. So some of it goes back to the surface of the Earth, then it's going to reflect back, it's going to be absorbed again, and so on. So this radiation, it's trapped in the Earth's atmosphere. So transmit and absorb is the correct words that we're looking for, so it's number D. Number 7. The graph shows the variation with wavelength of intensity of radiation emitted by two bodies X and Y. X and Y have the same surface area. This is important. How do the temperature and the emissivity of X compare with the temperature and the emissivity of Y? Now what we're looking here is to compare wavelength, because we have in one axis wavelength with the temperature, and also compare the intensity, so the power, with the emissivity. Now the peak wavelength is given by this formula over the temperature. So you see for X and Y, both peak wavelengths are the same. So if you have the same wavelength, so you have the same temperature as well. So temperature is equal. And now about the emissivity, there is a formula for the gray bodies that it says that the power emitted is equal with emissivity times sigma, the Stefan-Boltzmann constant, times the surface area, times the temperature to the power of 4. Now for here, we have temperature the same, surface area the same. Stefan-Boltzmann is a constant, so I'm going to solve this for emissivity to see what's going on. So it's power over this constant. And now you see that the X, it has bigger intensity, so bigger power, because the surface area is the same again. so the emissivity will be different than the Y. So of course the correct answer here is B. So that was all for today, guys. You need to study hard and good luck.